Oh, hi. I'm getting ready for the fire that's about to be in my comments because we're reading your faves today, sweetie. Sorry, not sorry. Hi, and welcome to... Who is he? Is he Mac Business' cousin? Y'all sure he ain't one of Medea's kids? How did y'all get in here? Anyway, are you home alone on Friday night? You follow an Instagram boyfriend page? Are you your own Laura Jean? Well, there's a good chance you've read a YA or seen a YA romance. And they're gross. Before you all actually start a fire. But I mean in the sense of like, yeah, sometimes a romance is like...
delicious. Finally. Some good fucking food.
But like, if you actually think about it, romances are pretty gross. And we're going to talk about it today because we have no life.
I cannot just be another one of your conquests.
Is that what you think of me?
It's what everyone thinks of you.
So when we hit about like the 30-minute mark in this movie, I immediately asked myself, I was like, is this about a Wattpad writer? It is. And we've read too many of these not to see the issues, okay? Like, automatically number one. Number one. We really need to stop pushing this narrative. And I don't care if it's a narrative in like media and like in not even in media, like in real life, of like, stop pushing people to be with others in order to like heal them. It's not your responsibility. Say it with me now. It is not your responsibility. It's not. Like, a lot of shows out here, especially like this movie in particular, keep pushing this huge idea that like, if you have a partner who has anger issues or is abusive or who can't control themselves, usually it's a man, can't control themselves, it's your responsibility as the partner to be there so you can act as a healing agent to repress all those things and bring out the best of them. That's not being a relationship. That's called watching somebody's dog. Like, you're watching somebody's dog at that point. You're making sure the dog doesn't destroy the house. You're not actually being with the dog. So yeah, there's a lot of red flags that should have been obvious from the beginning. But like, the number one thing that's wrong with this whole movie is the rule itself. Because the reason the rule is written is stupid. It would be really smart and like a writing way, or at least understandable, if the rule was written behind the idea of like Noah's actual anger issues and like Flynn not wanting Elle to get hurt by them, than actually Flynn just being jealous of Noah's social status within the school and in life in general. Because they both come from the same place, it's just that Noah's more popular than him at high school. And so he's like, when he's crying, he's like everything I ever wanted, he had just once. I didn't want him to have you. Like, what? That's idiotic. Like, you... That's that white people miss. I'm sorry. It's the truth. I'm saying that right now, it's not. Like, but when you actually think about it, if the rule was written in the idea, like, Flynn was like he knew of Noah's things, he actually was hurt by like one of Noah's incidents with his anger, maybe having like a scar in him or something, or whatever, and stuff, and then he would probably play it off, but then he wrote that rule because he didn't want Elle to get hurt the same way he got hurt or other people have gotten hurt who are close to Noah in his life because of that. If it was written by that reason, it would be understandable and kind of like entertaining and conflicty. Like, is Elle gonna go for Noah? Because she wants to heal him, which is stupid anyway, or is she gonna like take the warning signs that people have been giving her and stuff and actually like commit to herself? It would have been so neat, but no. Everybody in this movie is selfish, and it's stupid. I don't get why, but their movie is garbage, man.
I do, Ricky. I love you.
Oh.
Listen. Okay, what?
Yeah, I know a lot of you are thinking, you're like, But you wrote about how you liked that relationship, huh? But you said that they were absolutely cute. But you said they looked like it. I'm like, times have changed, people. I don't feel the same way anymore. Because when I actually sat down and thought about it after I wrote the review, which is really why I give myself like at least a week until I write something, because it doesn't make any sense, because your emotions are still fresh. You need to think about everything before you can like for real write it. So I might go back and rewrite that. I don't know. But I really don't like the way they got that together, because if you actually sit and you think about it, like Ricky and EJ have this weird kind of like feel like they need to have this ownership over Nene in it, because it's like at first you could at first I was like Ricky trying to like do better with Nene to show that maybe he wants to get back together because he understands that he messed up, which by the way I'll talk about that in a minute. But the reason I thought it was gonna be cool at first, I was like, okay, let's see how Ricky will like. How's he gonna like try to get back together with her? At first I thought they were gonna pull a mature thing, because this is 2019 to 2020, and they'd pull a mature thing where Ricky gives her space and lets Nene think about herself, but still lets himself improve him. Like, and he improves himself too. He doesn't just like give him back to me, Nene, please. But he like improves himself, or like he's gonna do better for him, and then Nina's gonna see through his improvements that maybe she wants to get back together with him. And I've been like, okay, that would have been cool to see. But instead, Ricky like invades every part of Nini's life to show that he cares about her, and that's not care, sweetie. That's called possessiveness. Like, it's not like he's giving Nene the space to think about that decision herself, and so that she can like, if she wants to get back together with Ricky or not. Because honestly, openly, I feel like she shouldn't have. Like, I talk about this as a thing. I felt like they should have just stayed friends, and still, because they look like they're still going, like they can be friends, but they're going in two different directions right now. Especially with like Nene's acceptance of that school. So I was just like, they should just be friends. But no, it's like he invades her space. He invades the drama club, even when she knows that he hates musicals. But he's like, "But I've changed. I'm doing it. I'm with it. I rock it." Like, no, you don't. You're just here so that she can like here so you can show her how much you changed as a person. But that's not change. Like, and then he like calls her constantly or tries to be everywhere she's at. Or then he even gets the part of Troy and she gets Gabriella. It's meant to be star-crossed lovers and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? It is stupid, because it's not giving her space. It's invading her space so that she does no other choice but to get back with you in order for you to like stop annoying her, which is so ridiculous. And then EJ, on the other hand, feels like he's threatened by Ricky's presence because of him and Nene's past, which like at first I was like, that's stupid, but then I'm like, I get it, because Ricky's like trying to invade himself into everything, so you would feel like threatened in a way. But then he starts getting real toxic over Nene, like he takes her phone a bunch of times, goes through it, reads voicemails and calls and stuff. She even tries to like delete Ricky's contact out of her phone, which she shouldn't have like had that in the first place still and stuff. And then it's like he's like, only reason that you got that part is because I poisoned the girl who was really meant to get the part, so you can get it, darling, because I wanted us to be together forever. And then I'm like, but it doesn't dictate that Nene has control over her life. Is that these two boys have like control over what she does and what she wants, instead of letting her really choose. And on the flip side, Nene's kind of not really a character in my opinion. Like, she feels like a self-insert for the rest of the audience to be the character. Like, you get to choose between your ex-boyfriend, who's like a kind of hipster rocker dude, but who loves trying to get back with you, or the captain of the water polo team, who is like really cool and stuff, and he's popular, and he loves you no matter what. What are you gonna choose, girl? Like, no, it's stupid and like crazy out of nowhere and stuff. So I'm just thinking to myself, there's no real reason for them to be together by the end. It's only together because it's Disney Channel. Like, they need them to be together so the people can have their Tumblr aesthetics. Like, also, by the way, we're getting really sick of like black characters only being sidekicks to like either white or ambiguously white people in like shows, because this show just pushes like our show is inclusive, but all the people in the show are either light skinned ambiguous people or white people in the show, and like the actual like gay character is really just that and stuff. So how you gonna be inclusive, sweetie? Have fun.
You're out of your mind. I ruined your fucking life.
No. You taught me what love is.
All of these things I'll say about them could go for any other relationship in the cast, but we gotta read them first. So I don't understand why Jessica and Justin still have to be together. Like, ignoring season 1 and potentially season 2 twice. Like, season 2, Jessica has nothing to do with him because he left. But that's just really because she doesn't want to face the fact that he left her in this whole emotional state because of everything with the case and about, like, Bryce and stuff. But eventually she comes around to him and stuff. And I don't even care they got together in season 3 because at least it kind of annoyed me because she was like, I'm trying to fix the system. But you saw that Justin was like applying himself to change because of the system and stuff. So them getting together, I guess, is good. But then we hit season 4. And season 4 them absolutely makes no sense. Like, no sense at all. Because okay, so Justin gets back from rehab because he had to go to rehab after like I think he was relapsing or something with like relapsing off of his like he used to do drugs, so I remember. So he was caught relapsing, so he had to go back to get rehabilitated. But when he comes back, he tells Jessica he just wants to focus on being rehabilitated. But Jessica takes that as he doesn't want her anymore and she's disgusting and she needs to go be with somebody else who's actually not going to be part of the plot. So she goes get with Diego. Like, go, Diego, go. You know, like her. And then she's being with him, but she's like, I still love you, Justin, so much. I'm like, but Justin didn't tell you off. Justin just said that he wants to focus on being rehabilitated. I can't say that word. Rehabilitated first. But she takes it as he doesn't want to be with her, which is not the case. Like, we need to, like, I understand it's for conflict in the show, but the conflict makes no sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make no senses. It doesn't make any sense. Because listen, Linda, listen. If you actually think about it, the conflict a lot of times in this show don't make any sense. Clay in this season is popping off for no reason. Like, this is a review. From Jessica somehow being upset that Justin wants to focus on like making himself good, to Justin pushing Jessica away when he relapses back into his thing and starts drinking again, just because Clay is having this crazy mental state where he's seeing dead people and he's popping off at every instant. Like a pin could drop on the floor and Clay he will throw every chair in the room talking about who has those about the guns. Like, and it's stupid because it's stupid and the conflict doesn't make any sense. If you just want them to be together by the end, they just could have been together by season 3 and then they just could have stayed friends or whatever in season 4 and still have their stuff going on, because that would have made so much more sense. But no, we gotta have petty conflict, and Jessica especially, because she annoyed the mess out of me when Ani was like, Jessica, you shouldn't be with Diego. I know it's not my place, but I'm telling you this, though I slept with your rapist. And Jessica's like, you can't tell me what to do, Ani. I own my body. And stuff. Like, she uses that excuse so much, but she doesn't clearly see that Diego is really just with her to find out stuff about Monty's death. And then you got Justin, who she's clearly still in love with, who she's messing up and doesn't realize that he's suffering from Clay's panic attacks. So it's stupid. And then by the end of the season, they're like, we're together now. But in the most pointless death in this whole show, Justin dies of HIV. And I have feelings about it, and I agree with Tumblr for once on that part, because there's no reason Justin should have died. Like, if Because it's this whole stigma, especially like people who have HIV, not even like this LGBT community, but in general, of like people who have HIV are immediately gonna die, and people don't realize it's actually medication to help you prevent from spreading or to prevent it like getting into like messing up your system even more and stuff. There's medication for it to keep him alive, to keep him going, to keep him good. But no, they pulled the random. He has HIV and now AIDS, and he's gonna die in like 28 hours. So everybody say your goodbyes. Like it doesn't. The death is pointless. It is pointless. Like no one should have died this season. His death didn't make any sense at all. If anybody was gonna die, I thought it was gonna be Zach. Like because Zach, it's not a review. But he shouldn't have died, and it wastes 4 seasons of this mishmash stuff between him and Jessica. It wastes it at all. It's I don't know. Jessica and Justin were something else. They're not the worst couple, but they're not the best either. They're just like okay, they're like mediocre-ish. It's kind of more like they bonded through the trauma than they really love each other. Like that's what it kind of just feels like. It kind of feels like with all the relationships in there, honestly. Like Clay and Audie, Alex and Charlie. Now I think even like Winston and Monty for that one point. Like it just feels like everybody bonded through the trauma than they really love each other, man. It's kind of gross.
Okay, just
Tell that thought to get out of your head. You can't think about us breaking up on our first date.
I just don't want us to break each other's hearts.
I promise I am not going to break your heart.
So I can try to like lie for you guys about like why I thought it was bad or it was not good or it was horrendous or it bewildered me or dumbfounded me how they could ever come up with this relationship. But I'm not gonna lie for y'all. I actually really like this one. And because it's not because they're trying to push toxic or unrealistic stereotypes onto relationships that shouldn't be a thing anymore. Or they're trying to make it seem like the person has to push their way into your life for you to actually really like them or want to take them back. Or repeating pointless cycles that should be over because we resolved it 2 seasons ago. It's a perfect representation of like relationships, honestly, because no relationship is automatically perfect or good, not or like the best one ever, because it takes slowly. It's slow. One, consent. When he was making out with her in the car in front of her dad's house, weirdly, he was trying to go further. She was like, I'm not trying to do that. He was like, oh, okay. I was like, this movie is already doing good. Just consent in general, yes. And then 2, the reason that they work so well is because they have their character flaws. Like it's the actual flaws the characters have in the thing. Like is Laura Jean's inexperience with actual romance because she bases all love upon like romance novels she read as a child or she reads now. So she doesn't have like a realistic approach to what love is, and she's also heavily inexperienced, so she doesn't know. And then Peter is kind of unwilling to change his ways or isn't like as open or honest with her as he like should be and stuff. So of course it causes character conflict, but it feels realistic enough. And it makes them really cute together and really enjoyable to watch them on screen. But I know what all you're saying. But what about John Ambrose? John Ambrose should have been the one. No, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't have. And I'm going to tell you why. John Ambrose is the perfect friend for Laura Jean, not the perfect boyfriend like Peter is. And before y'all start hating, listen. It's because John Ambrose and Laura Jean are basically the same person. I know y'all like, but they're saying they're so similar, they don't have any conflict. That's kind of boring though. You wouldn't, because like, I always say this all the time, you wouldn't want to date yourself. Like, people always want to try to date themselves when it comes to things. I'm like, you wouldn't want to date yourself. One, because then you have to open up to your flaws and how bad you are as a person actually, which people should really understand is already existent. But 2 is because it's not great to date someone who is just like you in every way, shape, or form. Because why would you want that? It's why we have friends who have different interests or different personality traits or like different things they do in their lives, but we're all still friends. Like, it's like, watch Insecure if you want a good example of that. But John Ambrose fits perfectly with Laura Jean, but he doesn't force her to go outside of her box or out of her comfort zone in order to do things. On the flip side, however, Peter does all of those things. He forces Laura Jean to actually try, to go outside the box, to put more effort into doing stuff. He forces her to like be more expansive in what she will do in her life. And because of that reason, she comes out a lot stronger and a lot better in herself. On the flip side, Laura Jean is able to put this like standard of what it means to be with another person in Peter's mind and like raise him up because of that. So they benefit from one another and they improve one another. And that's why they work so well. They work so well because of that reason. And that's why they're actually really cute and adorable. Ain't even gonna try to front. Good job. I'm just gonna say this to wrap this up. Like, don't rely on people who are in high school like 20 or 10 or 30 years ago to be writing accurate high school portrayals now. Because if you just want to do that, so just write a timepiece. Like, if you could just write a timepiece about stuff, then that'd be really cool. That's kind of what life would be. It would be awesome. Don't be trying to write modern day high school with like 70s aesthetics. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But also don't feel like just because you add like the most cringiest or outwardly stuff in your thing means that your stuff is automatically good, because it's not. If you actually think about it, most of these romances that happen in shows, that stuff that be happening to them rarely would ever happen to like a regular person in real life. 13 Reasons Why, I bet you like 9 out of 10 people who you know in relationships don't go through nothing like that. Not to the level that they go through stuff. It's like there's no reason to like try to push this agenda that if your relationship isn't you having to deal with your partner's drug abuse, or you're not getting like harassed, almost to like the point harassed by like your ex to be back with them, or even like having to save your person who's like emotionally aggravating and has anger issues or has problems. That's not your job. Your job isn't to feel like you need to be in these type of situations, nor is it you receive these type of situations in your own life. Like, honestly and openly, real talk, I feel like we fetishize being in relationships because there's no real reason for people to want somebody else so bad. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Sometimes you just want someone else there. We all feel that way. Me, 100%. But at the same time, sometimes you just gotta be by yourself to really learn how to exist. Because if you don't exist, what are you doing? You're just wasting your life, I feel. Like, if you just trying to wait on somebody else so you can have that quote unquote Instagram page that's like thousands of them, where you can have that one tweet talking about we fell asleep on the couch, and then I'm gonna type in the thing, the bub is make it taking the pictures. Like, no. So sometimes you just gotta be by yourself, and that's not, and that's cool too. Like, being with somebody else shouldn't equate to success in life, or like I'm gonna say that one, sorry, success in life, or like true happiness in the end. It doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of whatever our lives are. So yeah, it's kind of just not pointless, but it's a goal for everyone, but it shouldn't be the ultimate goal. Sometimes you don't know where life goes like you. Well, that's too real for me, so we're gonna call it a night. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to have an argument or talk in the comments, I'm willing to do that. I love to. And yeah, thanks for coming. Bye.